Good evening and welcome to the second Aikido session in a series of home dojo Aikido sessions. Let's begin with going inwards. Letting go of the clutter of the day, just checking in with yourself, dropping your center into the ground, and easing your breath. Hi. So, facing O-sensei, the founder of Aikido, O-sensei Mirei. And I honor you for joining this evening. Onegaishimasu. So this week we're looking at the concept of purification and how it's applied in Aikido. Well, there's a Japanese concept called misogi, which is actually stemming from Shinto practice, a kind of a spiritual practice, which O-sensei was very interested in, and he adopted some of the misogi exercises in the Aikido practice. But in fact, in a sense, the goal of O-sensei was to make Aikido practice itself a misogi. It's a purification practice, actually, of overcoming your inner blocks, your dark side, if you like, or shadow, to bring light to your mind and your body. And so we free our body, and in freeing our body we can free our mind. So there are some really specific exercises done in misogi. Aikido is maybe a filtered version of some of the misogi exercises that were carried out in the past. So the most famous misogi exercise that is practiced in almost every dojo is the torifune. And torifune is this rowing exercise. So we're going to start with that. And in fact, yeah, as I said, Aikido is pretty much a purification exercise in itself, because we're trying to make the movement smooth and pure and not blocked, and we're trying to stay connected while we do this. Of course, without a partner, when you practice on your own, it's not so easy to practice the connection part. So that's why the second part of this session, after the warm-up, I will show some work with the sword, or the bokken, the wooden sword, where you can use the lines of the sword to symbolize the lines of the movement of the technique. Okay, so we'll look at that a bit later, but now let's go into a warm-up with misogi. After the warm-up, I'll show some basic bokken tsuburi, some individual exercises that you can practice on your own, and then we'll go into the bokken-related technique. So starting with some misogi, warming up. So let's just, first of all, jump up and down on the spot and release your breath. Breathe in for a count of 4. Breathe out for a count of 4. And as you do that, try to free your shoulders up and make them loose and hanging. No tension in the shoulders. Keep bouncing if you can reverently. If it's too difficult to jump, or you have neighbors downstairs, you may need to just bounce like this. Don't have to jump up and down and make a noise. Still, slowing your breath. Breathe in for 4. Breathe out for 4. You do that a few times. So shaking up everything in your body. Tension, emotions, kinds of movement going on in your body internally, and shaking up. With one more breath. And then finding a still point, just going inwards, maybe close the eyes. Notice the sensations in your body. Notice what it did to your body. Maybe a tingling feeling in the fingers, some kind of release of sweat. Maybe you start to sense the flow of blood in your body. Just going inwards and sensing and feeling, listening to your body. Just for a few seconds. And then we go straight into torifune, the misogi exercise. So we bring the left foot forward and the right leg back. And the idea of torifune is that you transfer your body weight from the front foot to the back foot. back to the front foot, bending at the knees, okay, keeping the knees soft. And we're trying to move purely from our center, keeping the shoulders relaxed. And so we start to get this rowing feeling, like your hands are extending, then coming back to our hips. And just to go deeper into the core, we make an intonation, and the intonation is to activate from inside, to activate energy, key energy we call it in Aikido, and we give it life in this way. So we activate with I, O. So going back, Hi, and forward, Ho. Hi, Ho, 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 Hi. When we've done that side, we go to the other side, right leg forward, and the same movement. So on this side, we use the intonations Hi-sa, Hi-sa. Now, if anybody knows why we say Hi-sa, please let me know, because I have no clue why we say Hi-sa. All these years I've been doing Aikido, maybe I'm going to learn something from you guys. Why do we say Hi-sa on the left side and Hi-sa on the right side? Maybe some Japanese friends out there can tell me, I don't know. But anyway, this is the practice. We go deep in. Hi-sa, 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 Hi. So when you've done it on both sides, you bring your feet parallel. And we go into what's called furitama, so it's like a grounding exercise. Feet parallel, reaching the hands up, bring your hands to your center line, slowly lowering your hands past your chest, past your belly, and then connecting the base of the palms close to your belly, so that you connect, really connected, your whole body is one unit. And from there you shake, try to shake from the belly. Again, it's kind of stirring up the energy in your body. It's releasing stuck energy. And imagine steam rising. Imagine that the energy is also rising and evaporating from your body. Take a few breaths in a shaking mode. And then go inwards again. And at a certain point you just want to go into stillness again. So you stop to oscillate, this vibration. Actually, there's a continuation of oscillation, but it's within inside now, inside your body. Maybe you can sense that. Just find some stillness there. So that's basically it. That's the torifune furitama exercise. Something which you can do every day, especially if the sun is rising. It's a beautiful exercise to do in the morning. I recommend it to do it every day. Very simple exercise, but it will give energy to you. It will enhance your vitality and sense of life, and give you a positive mind as well. So enjoy this practice of misogi. Next up, we're going to practice some bokken suburi. So the bokken is the wooden sword. So I will take the wooden sword there, the bokken. Normally we present the sword to the founder or sensei, just to acknowledge that this is being used as a training tool and not a weapon. You might want to use in this way, just to acknowledge that. So this is the bokken. There are a lot of details about how to hold a sword. I don't have too much time to explain that, but just first some basics. The left hand at the hilt, with the little finger wrapped around the edge, and the index finger of the right hand wrapped around the guard, what would be known as the suba, and you try to bring your wrists inwards towards each other. So this would be like the basic posture with the sword in front of you. And at the same time you're trying to maintain relaxation 50-50 in the shoulders with the hips square. So you can practice basically all of the types of baki that I showed in session 1, you can practice with the sword, with kuriashi, Ayumiashi, Tenkaiashi, Tenkanashi, Irimi Tenkan. Let's do that again. Kuriashi, Ayumiashi, Tenkaiashi, Tenkanashi, Irimi Tenkan. So the sword is kind of a practice partner in some way. It's assisting you in carrying out the steps and the lines of movement. And then we'll come back to the technique. But first, let's practice some actual saburi, which will help you to align your center with the sword. First saburi I'm going to do is shomenuchi. Shomenuchi is a center line cut. So we lift the sword in our center line, just above the head, keeping the point upwards, and then we drop the sword. So there's a looseness in the shoulders so that we can raise and lower the arms. And at the same time, there's something going on in the hips. You're drawing the hip back, and the weight on the back foot, and the weight on the front foot as you cut down. Drawing the hip back and forwards. Nice and slowly, just to follow the line, maintaining that center line. So the trick is to find the extension in the bendable arm at the same time as keeping the center line, precision of the center line in front of your body with the hands. Let's do it on the left side. Left foot forward, kamai. Drawing the hip back, weight in the back foot, weight in the front foot as you cut down center line. And it's good to work with the breath as well. Breathing out as you cut, breathe in as you lift. Shomenuchi. Then the next basic saburi will be yokomenuchi. So yokomenuchi, you would normally attack from the back foot, lifting in the center line, and then stepping forward with the back foot, you cut to the head height, 30 degrees, aligning your body still to the hands in the center line. But this time you a little bit outwards cut to the side. And then on the other side, lifting in the center line, stepping from the back foot, adjust the feet maybe at the back, cutting at 30 degrees. Okay, and then we can do another one, which is ski. And ski is more a thrust, a bit like a punch. Punch, usually we punch from the backhand. Ski, we thrust, shifting forward, okuriashi. And the other side, turning the bokken 90 degrees so that the cutting side is inwards. So this is ski. So then we can alternate our step with these techniques, with these saburi. Right side, left side, right side, left side. This helps to change our hanmi. And in Aikido, it's very important to practice change hanmi. So we have right side forward, cutting shomen. Then draw it back, left side forward, shomen. And then we can alternate in this way. Right side, left side. Right side, left side. And we get a little rhythm going there. So you can feel more of a flow. And we can do the same kind of thing with yokomenuchi. And ski. Right side, left side. Right side, left side. Now another interesting cut is more a little bit like yokomenuchi. So when you take it from what we call a hasokamai position, preparation position, turning the hip and slicing down at an angle, we call this kizugeri. So a little bit more advanced technique, kizugeri. And the idea is that as you attack, you turn your hip first before you use your hand. So your hip goes first, the hand follows, and then we come to the other side. Hip first and then the hand follows. And we can make sort of figure of 8 with a blade, but at the same time we're turning our hips. So this is actually, this kizugeri movement is more naturally in line with the Aikido movement. It's more of a kind of a diagonal cut that we do in the techniques usually, rather than a rigid straight cut. In the middle, it's usually diagonally past the middle. So this is the kizugeri movement. Okay. Well, try that and see how it goes. Okay, now it's time to look at specific techniques that you can apply with the bokken. So again, because the theme is purification, the idea is to make a pure movement with the use of the bokken. So we don't want to be blocked in our movement, we want it to flow, we want it to have this nice smooth transition between one side and the other. So now I'm going to introduce to you some ideas regarding the use of the bokken with ikkyo. Ikkyo omote and ura from the seated position and from standing. So obviously when you're practicing alone and you don't have a practice partner, we need to visualize a bit more what we're doing when we practice Aikido technique. And your partner can be an object like a bokken. So here's a bokken. It's a wooden sword, a bokken. And the idea is that the lines of cutting symbolize the line of movement in Aikido. So for example, ikkyo, the first technique, there's a drawing back, raising with the sword, and turning the hip, entering and cutting. Okay, so all the techniques in Aikido have a shape of movement, vectors, and you can symbolize this shape with the shape of the movement of the sword. Not to say that we are practicing a true sword art in Aikido, but we're using the movement of the sword as symbolic of the Aikido technique. So today I'm going to show the basic movement of ikkyo in sawariwaza on the knees and tachiwaza, both omote form and ura form. And this is just my own interpretation, so I'm not saying that this is the only interpretation, but this is one interpretation that you could have using the sword as a practice partner to assist in your practice. So let's look at the dynamics of this technique, ikkyo. So I'll show you first of all a video of myself doing ikkyo with a partner from a previous video. So have a look at this. omate form and the ura form, both on the knees, sawariwaza, and tachiwaza standing. So it's very interesting to practice on the knees because you are a little bit limited with your legs. So you can only move in a limited way, but it also encourages you to move from your center when you're working on the floor and you stay more grounded. Now, if we want to really reflect the ikkyo movement on the knees, we need to know how to move our feet. So in the omate form, as you can see in the video, the idea is to stay in front of your partner. So we do this by making an opening in the back hip first. Then we open the front leg a little bit, so we make a step with the front foot. We raise the sword as we enter, bringing the back foot in, turning the hip and cutting down. Now that might seem simple, but to coordinate the different parts of the body is pretty tricky. Another thing is that when you hold the bokken, pretty much all the time you have the right hand forward and the left hand back. So we're in this position. So doing it on the right side feels a little bit different than doing it on the left side, but we can still do it on the left side. I usually start with a kind of a wakikamai position. So that the sword is just drawn back to my back hip, just as you would with the sword like this in the left side. Now on the right side I draw it back. And so we have the back hip going back, and opening the front hip, entering with the back leg, and cutting at the same time. That's the omate form. Then for the ura form, it's directly from the back hip. We want to enter, we cut under, up, turning, and then as you step back, you cut down a little bit on the diagonal. Pretty much, most of the techniques are not a shomen cut, which is a middle cut. They're usually a little bit diagonal when you're attacking with the hip. So let's look at on the other side, from this wakikamai position, ura, cutting underneath, turning and cutting down as you step back. That's sawariwaza form. And now going into the tachiwaza form, so standing. So the tachiwaza form, the principle is the same. You want to take the back hip back first, and enter, shifting the body, raising the sword. Now we have the turn of the hip, and as you turn you want to cut the sword down. This is symbolic of bringing your partner's arm down, lower below your hip. And then the final step is to attack into the center there. So we just bring the sword forward in front of my center. Let's do that on the other side from the wakikamai position. So we're back hip back, shifting with the body, raising the sword, turn the hip, drop the sword, and then tapping from the back hip into there. And let's have to look at the ura form. The ura form we're attacking again, attacking directly from the back hip, under, turn, cut down, step back, turn the hip. This is Aihami Ikkyo Ura. And now left side forward from the wakikamai position, entering from the back hip, turning, cut, and turn your hip. And let's see a demonstration of that now, a little bit more in flow in the motion. Sawariwaza, Aihami Ikkyo Omote. Sawariwaza, Aihami Ikkyo Ura. Tachiwaza, Aihami Ikkyo Omote. Tachiwaza, Aihami Ikkyo Ura. Okay, let's close this session. So that was purification, the theme. Feel free to use the warm-ups of session 1, combine it with this to make a nice complete practice. I understand that everybody's going to be able to use the bokken in their practice, especially if they have a low ceiling, might hit the ceiling, or you don't have a bokken. So other options, maybe you have something shorter, like the cardboard roll and the kitchen roll, for example. Something like that, something you can hold and draw the sort of lines with this object. Yeah? So we can actually make a practice of imagining that it's a sword somehow. Yeah? Or eventually just with your hands. You can also do this practice, imagining the sword with your hands. So we'll do more techniques in future sessions. I plan to do kind of a summary of different techniques, basic techniques using bokken in helping to understand the movement. Okay, let's close the session now. Just back to César, closing the eyes, going inwards, connect to your breath. And seeing your sensei. Sensei Nire. And thank you very much. どうもありがとうございました。